99.9 Punk World Radio FM. You guys already know what time it is. And right here, we are live with New Jersey's finest. We have Delran, New Jersey's own. We got All Systems Go right here live on the radio station tonight. Guys, how are you doing tonight all the way out there in New Jersey?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Hey, yeah, we're doing good. Thank you.
Hey, you're most certainly welcome, guys. It's such an honor to speak with you guys tonight. I've been super stoked and excited for this interview. I know we're going to be getting into your most recent single near the end of the interview, but I just got to say, we've been playing it way before it even got released. The moment you guys gave us clearance to add it into the station, it was tearing up the airwaves over here in Prescott, Ontario. So thank you guys for giving us the exclusive to air your guys' music on the radio station.
Of course, appreciate you spinning it.
But I know you guys are very busy individuals, so of course I'm not going to take you away from your Sunday night too long, but I got to take you back to the beginning of this amazing band. And I have to ask, what is the story behind All Systems Go? How did you guys all come together as one to form this band?
Sure. So back in maybe 2011, we had me, Devin, and then two of our original members had our first band that we started in high school. So All Systems Go is essentially a revamp of that band. Ironically, we didn't know that there was an All Systems Go that was a Canadian punk rock band that was active during the early 2000s, around when we first had our first band in high school. The first band that we had in high school was called But We Aren't Canadian. And we actually came up with that title we have the one song that's called What About a Shipwreck in Canada. That was one of the suggestions for what should our first band name be. So we played for a couple of years back in high school, went to different colleges. And in 2016, one of the first conversations that we had after not seeing each other for a while is we're old enough to drink now. We can play in bars. Do you guys want to start the band back up? And we've been going ever since then. Our original drummer dropped off super early on, just because of other life things and stuff like that. And then Joe hopped on around our fourth or fifth show, really early on.
This whole time I was the friend who was wow, I want to do what those guys do, but different. And then the opportunity came for me to jump on. And I was yeah, definitely. Let's do it.
And also, January 21st of 2019, you guys actually released the phenomenal 9-track album titled Garden State Skies. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us the story behind this amazing album.
Yeah, that was our first release. We kind of kept things to just having maybe a couple demos online until then, and then handing out burnt copies of CDs and stuff. That album came to fruition. We had somebody reach out saying that they wanted to mix us. I think it was through that, if you're familiar with the site Reverb Nation, it's kind of an old site that was kind of LinkedIn for bands, I guess.
I always call it the MySpace of bands, dude. I mean, it's still out there. It's just nobody ever uses it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we had somebody find us, and we connected with them. That was the first time that we tried recording ourselves, and taking that seriously, taking the time to track everything and stuff. Had no idea what we were doing. Took so long to just finish those 9 tracks and edit it, and even have them mixed. And then it was one of those things where we didn't realize back then, promoting is just as important as releasing the music. So with that album, we put a lot into it, and people kind of stopped listening to it after the first week. But we still play the songs live, and we had a good response to.
Great songs. Again, our DIY recording quality was maybe not the best, and we totally own that. But the first song actually of the band kind of started with a jam session that me and Matt were going to before the band even officially formed. There's 2 songs actually, Candle Smoke and London Lights, that ended up being songs on that album. And then after the band formed, we really just sort of kept developing that sound. Matt has this really beautiful mix of Bruce Springsteen and pop punk that kind of comes together in his songwriting. And that was really a lot of the early stuff, right? It was fast, and it was exciting, and it was pop punk, and it was fun. So we really, really have a special connection to those songs, even though we listen to the mixes and go, yeah, that probably could have been recorded with better quality if we actually knew what we were doing. But we still love that music, and like Matt said, it still pops its way into the set every once in a while.
Yeah, we're all like approaching 30 now. Like, I think we're between 26 and 29 in the band. That was when we were like 20, 21, 22. So like, such a long time ago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And Matt, as well, before we move off the topic of this album, you were also the producer of this album alongside David Snow and an individual by the name of Joseph. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us a bit more about your the production aspect of this record. And also, we got Dick in the building as well.
Ooh, hello.
Yeah,
What up? What up?
I would say I wouldn't take the producer credits like that. Just being like kind of like what we just mentioned. That was more so figuring out like what our sound was going to be, what our I guess like how the songs would go. We've kind of discovered like what pre-pro is since working with other people since then. David Snow kind of gave a little bit of creative direction to some of the songs when he was the guy that mixed it too. Like I gave myself producer credits only because of I was kind of learning how to use Logic too in terms of like tracking everything and stuff for the first time. And that's kind of also finding out like, oh, like if you did all the editing and stuff like that and like you recorded it, then like you get producer credits for that.
Yeah, I believe didn't you fully mix one or two of those songs too?
Sellers I mixed, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, August 1st of 2022, you guys were actually a part of the collaborative single titled There's Not Enough Penicillin in the World to Save You that features you guys alongside King of Cups, Bride Guy, and others. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us the story behind this song. And of course, how did you guys get connected with all these other amazing bands? Because there's a lot of bands compiled and compacted into just one phenomenal song.
Sure. So Sean, who is the singer on that track, and Brian, they both had a band that was called Black It Out. I guess they've changed it to King of Cups, but Black It Out was more so kind of like a comedy rock band. I think King of Cups since they rebranded has more serious like topics and like songs and stuff like that. But this was around the time when everything was shut down, and it was like it shut down 2022, but still like kind of like coming back from the pandemic. So there was definitely a lot of collaboration going on. Those guys run a column and a label and like a Instagram account called Moosic Records, like moose, like a moose, like an animal, Moosic Records. So they ended up reaching out to us. We saw too that they had done like collaborations with a lot of like other smaller bands in the scene too, like Promise Game, a band that we played with a couple times. But that was just kind of a testament to like, I feel like when everything was shut down still, there was a lot of like online collaboration going on because we met them and like a lot of other bands through like online, like Facebook groups, like getting added to different group chats and stuff like that.
And I got to say, it definitely is an amazing song. And it's cool how even COVID, because obviously that was a rough time for everyone being stuck in the house, but it's always wonderful how the internet can bring so many amazing individuals together and just create music, man. It's good to know that your guys' inspiration did not go away during COVID.
Yeah, forced us to kind of adapt and keep moving the best way we could, and we figured it out, luckily, which, that's all you can do.
Yeah, because we just like right before everything shut down, we dropped our EP, The Waiting Room, and then like played a lot of shows between like dropping that and then like maybe like March, like probably like close to like 15 or 20 shows at that point.
And then boom, quarantine.
But then like we had made a lot of money from all those shows because we used to do cover band gigs too. So we had like almost like $1,000 like left over like when everything shut down. So we were just like, let's put that into like press and PR and stuff because it's like, what else are we gonna do? Just use the internet,
And did you guys actually perform during COVID? And if so, what was it like actually performing during COVID? Because I personally didn't attend any shows during COVID. I just completely left that alone. It wasn't because I was scared of getting COVID. It's just the whole like distancing and certain number of people. I was like, man, if the venue ain't packed, I don't want to be there,
Yeah, we didn't really perform. Like there was a lot of, I will say in our scene, and Dick was actually part of this like early on too, in our like local scene, there was a lot of effort to keep things going. So there was a lot of podcasting. There was a lot of like live stream shows that would either be like acoustic in a living room or something like that. I remember there was one that we did in this studio. Dick used to be part of this podcast that was called Talk of the City. That was kind of like a comedy, like sports thing. They started incorporating like music in the local music scene to kind of keep things going. And I remember the one time we did like a Halloween live stream where we were just like, it was only like a few people around. It was in this like mini like radio studio, and like maybe like 15 people there or something, but it was like live streamed and like we had like 40, 50 people watching like on the actual like stream. So like it wasn't we did the best that we could do during COVID. We didn't play any shows.
Wasn't that when that wiffle ball league was going on too?
Yeah, that was also like we were in like the band Win by Two. They also started a podcast, and they did a like a wiffle ball tournament to kind of keep like a local scene wiffle ball tournament to kind of keep things like not boring. But even still, that was only ever like a few people in a backyard type thing. That was like live streamed once a week too, like substituting for shows, I guess.
And also, one of my favorite releases that you guys actually did was October 6, 2022, which was an 8-track album titled Nonfiction. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us a bit more about this album. And of course, is it still available to be streamed or purchased today in 2025?
Yeah, it's still on streaming, and then we actually have a few copies of CDs left that we'll hopefully be able to sell at our upcoming shows. The shows we just played, a couple people asked for CDs still, which is kind of amazing. But Nonfiction, we had, so up until that point, we'd only ever recorded stuff ourselves or had worked with like a sound engineer for like the local studio. And then our friend Chris hooked us up with Nick Brzezzi from the band Man Overboard, because they're a like phenomenal South Jersey band, legendary South Jersey band. He was actually moving studios from like lower South Jersey to the Gradwell house, which at the time was like, like 20 minutes from like all of us in the band from like any direction. So he was trying to look for more like local bands to like record and stuff. So our friend Chris was like interning with him at his old studio. So he connected both of us, and like we learned so much just from like that extra step of like working with a good producer. Recorded the album in 3 sessions. We did the singles first, and then we're like, okay, we want to work with you again. So like, let's like record these other 5 songs that we have. And like, I feel like from that point on, both during recording the album and after it dropped, like we saw like our show attendance like shoot way up. Stream numbers like go way up. Like that was probably like our best so far. It's been our best chapter of our band.
Yeah, it wasn't even just the pre-pro and the writing stuff. Like Nick basically gave us like tutorial, like this is how you write parts, this is how you get like the drum and the bass part to lock in really well together. He sat down with God bless him, he was so patient with me. He sat down with me and the drummer and was like, okay, we're gonna take this song, I'm gonna rewrite all these parts, make it like lock in with the basses and the guitars. Let me sit at the drum set. Here's what you're gonna do. And I was like, great. And we, it was the same thing for Matt and Devin and Dean on the guitar and bass parts. And he gave great singing advice too to you guys, harmonies, all this different stuff. But as Matt said, we did it in a couple different sessions. I think it took us a little over 6 months to record the whole thing, coming in for 2 or 3 days at a time. And by the end of the process, we were kind of we got a feel for how Nick worked, and we were able to come in with those last couple of songs and do minimal adjustments, and we kind of knew what was happening. It was really a great learning experience for all of us all around, and from the production standpoint to just writing a good song and being good performers to the audience,
And Nick has such a good ear just from like Man Overboard, their entire discography is just catchy pop punk jams. Like he knows what makes a song work. There was one song that we had where was recording the vocal part, and he had like told me how to sing it, and he had said something like this line right here. Like I think it was only like a line in the pre-chorus or something like that. This line right here is the entire song, and it's going to be the line that people remember. And then after the album came out, there was like sometime later there was like a best like political songs or whatever of like 2022 or something like that. And the article that the song made it in, it was like ranked like number 15 or 20 or something like that. It was like out of Jersey. The article quoted specifically that line. And then it was just like, Nick called that. Like, it was incredible.
And I got to say, before we move off this topic, my favorite song is actually Four Guys, One Machete, man. That song is just phenomenal.
Thank you.
But also, January 2nd, 2025, you guys released your most recent single that's been tearing up the airwaves here at 99.9 Punk World Radio FM in Prescott and Ottawa, Ontario. Everything Going Well is a Bad Thing, right, is the name of the song. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us the story behind this song. And, of course, for the listeners that haven't actually either heard this song on the radio here on 99.9 or even know about this song, which you're watching the interview for All Systems Go. I really hope you already know this song, but just in case, break it down for us and tell us where we can actually stream it today.
Sure.
That's all.
Sure. So I'll start with a story behind it. So basically, long story short, I was dating somebody who got cold feet, and the way that the cold feet kind of manifested itself was super the communication wasn't like the best, I guess, the way things ended. The chorus that seemed like we just played a couple shows in Philly and Lancaster by us, and people singing the chorus, both shows, amazing. The chorus is like, remember me when you're famous, she said with a dreamy look in her eyes. That was something that happened. And then a couple lines later, it says, this was your way of saying goodbye. To me, at the time of dating that person, it was kind of completely thrown off by the fact that things ended. But then this song, when we started writing this record, I feel like this song kind of set the tone for the rest of the record. This was kind of looking back and being okay, maybe there was some things in this where it wasn't meant to work out. So a lot of this song is I actually had to, we took a break from writing for a little bit before going back into writing this record. So I actually look back through my lyric book and then found that one line, remember me when you're famous. And I'm this whole situation was something that I felt strongly about at the time, and I'm not going to let this one go. This has to be in a song so I can feel kind of I've let it go in full. And now I can think of that whole situation as this is a song that everybody really likes, and that's it kind of thing. Because when we write stuff on paper, when we get stuff on paper and I'm singing it, I don't think about the situation or whatever anymore it was. I always just think okay, A minor, C, F, G with the words over it, and it's its own entity now.
Well, I'm sure she most definitely probably heard this song, and she definitely she give it time, man. Give it time. Your phone will ring, and either she'll be happy or she'll be upset. But I'm thinking she'll probably lean towards number 2. But it is what it is, right? That's why you never. That's why you never dump a musician, because they'll write a song about you.
Taylor Swift. There you go.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking that, but at the same time, I didn't want to disrespect your guys' music, because you guys are 10 times better than Taylor Swift. I don't care, man, because every single one of her songs is a freaking breakup song, man. I mean, it's almost like she dates guys just to dump them so she has new material to make songs. Well, I'm gonna predict the Swifties are gonna be at my door in the next hour with pitchforks.
That's fair. Well, he also makes 1,500 times more money than any of us, so that's whatever she does, it works. So you got to respect that.
That's something to show.
You know what? The hustle is real, and she has the money, so I got to give her credit for that.
Yeah. Now they're only going to break down your door a little bit, hopefully.
A little bit, hopefully. If not, I'll just be sitting here and I'll be like, you know what? But the good thing is, majority of them are either little girls or middle-aged moms. So hopefully, I can just outrun them before the asthma kicks in, and then I start crawling.
There you go.
But aside from this phenomenal song, guys, you guys are also gearing up to release an EP titled Finding Closure. I was wondering, what can the All System Go fans expect from this up-and-coming release? And, of course, where can we actually pre-order or pre-save ourselves a copy today?
It's a loaded question.
I'll get the quick part out of the way first in terms of the pre-save. We've just been posting the links. If you go to any of our socials at All Systems Go NJ, it's in our bio. Pre-order, I think we'll have CDs for like our upcoming shows and stuff, but other than that, like it'll be on Bandcamp if you want to download it when it drops.
Yeah, if you really can't come to a show, then reach out to us.
Yeah. But for finding closure, we've had a few discussions about this already, and I feel like a lot of people really resonate. A lot of people who have heard it resonate with the title. Like, for example, like Everything Going Well is like breakup song, things ended badly. Didn't get closure because when things ended, I didn't try to like argue. I didn't try to like try to get the girl back or anything like that. I kind of just accepted it, but I didn't really like ever express how I felt about the whole thing. So like I'm creating closure by like with this song is like me answering to that. We have 3 more songs that kind of follow that same like logic in terms of like this situation happened. We didn't know how we felt about it at this time, but like this song is kind of answering to that. Do you guys want to add to that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say like also as far as how the EP developed, it just kind of coincidentally took on that theme. There was no like idea beforehand of like, oh yeah, we're gonna, basically make some type of concept album or whatever the case may be. It just kind of naturally developed through like each like song, like lyrically, just that idea of like focusing on like finding closure and like becoming a like better version of ourselves, and also like focusing on the good that's ahead and looking back like at the fond memories as opposed to like the bad memories, and kind of like just putting all of those feelings and all of those emotions into just one EP.
Yeah, and this whole process of us writing these songs kind of mirrored what we were going through. All of us were going through in that break between nonfiction and its new release, because our old bassist Dean unfortunately passed away suddenly, shortly after. The year after nonfiction came out, or no, 2 years.
No, the year after. I don't even think it was out a year at that point.
Yeah. So, and then we took a break, and then after we were able to take a break and kind of find some closure for ourselves individually, then our songwriting just kind of naturally went that way, because we were mirroring that experience that we were all kind of going through together. And I think we did a good job, Matt in particular, and Dick wrote a song on this album, which is really, really good. We did a good job of each finding a different piece of that closure that we were dealing with to put into this album, and kind of put our real feelings, our real emotions into the songs and into the album. And then we're hoping to into the performance as well, as we get to start performing these in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I do want to add what Dick said about how there wasn't like a concept going into this. That when we started writing again, like I want to say we started writing it in last April, because Everything Going Well to me just came so naturally that like I had the song structure done in like 4 days basically. And we had booked studio time with our producer Gary. Gary Sione owns his own like studio in his garage in South Jersey called Sound Acres. He's in a band called Crime and Stereo, Long Island hardcore band, and he one of his claims to fame is he recorded a couple of Hot Mulligan's biggest releases, like the You'll Be Fine album and the follow-up EP after that. Working with him is fantastic. But usually when we record stuff, we always go into the studio we've played the songs live at shows a couple times. This time, the writing only happened between April and July when we recorded the EP. Like, we went into the studio week, like, not having everything, like, fully fleshed out and being, spent the weeks leading up to that, like, at the last second, just gathering together and being like, okay, like, we have this much of this song done. We have this much of that song done. We had 5 songs originally that we were going to go in with and had to cut one of them because we didn't think it really fit with the rest of them. And we wanted to use our time wisely to just kind of focus on the 4. But yeah, I feel like so far people have said to us, like, Everything Going Well is like one of your guys' best yet, for sure. A couple of people that have heard the EP in full have said about some of the other songs, like this is literally some of your guys' like best work. And I feel like the fact that we kind of like the process was super collaborative, and I feel like the fact that we weren't done this time and kind of were in the writing zone going into the studio, I feel like that had a lot to do with the way that this record came out.
And also, February 8th, you guys will be taking the stage at in Teaneck, New Jersey, at the Diba Music Hall. I was wondering if you can actually tell us, what can your fans expect from this up-and-coming show? And of course, where can we actually snag ourselves some last-minute tickets right here, right now, to come out and see New Jersey's finest live in full effect this Saturday night?
So the band Northvale, big pop punk band in North Jersey, they just dropped an album this past week. Gary also produced that one. Banger of a record. Like there's something addicting to listen to about literally every single song that's on that record. They reached out to us and wanted to asked if we wanted to open the show. So we're playing with them. The band Five Ever from Boston just released another good single a couple like weeks ago. Super like poppy pop punk. And then Jam Poetry, which is more like Midwest emo, like based out of Brooklyn. It's going to be a really good show, I think. You can get tickets again. Like we have a ticket link in our bio and any of our social media platforms.
Yep, and you can expect to hear the new single "Everything Going Well." That is in the set.
Yep.
And I know you guys can't let too many cats out of the bag, but speaking of the set, will there actually be any more songs from Finding Closure, or are these songs you are not going to play until the EP gets fully released to the public?
I think it's just Everything Going Well is going to be in this set, but like from like here on out, probably for the rest of the year, the whole EP will be in the set. We did play one of the songs, the song that Dick wrote. We played that one live a couple times. I don't think it's available you can't really find it online anywhere unless you like really dig deep.
It's on YouTube, I think.
Yeah,
I believe it's on YouTube, but you would have to dig.
Don't tell them, Dick. Don't tell them. Just kidding.
Yeah. I remember both times we played that, people responded super well to it. Like even like our friends hearing like the actual finished track, it was kind of like I was not expecting to hear that type thing, like in a good way. Me and Dev also played an acoustic version of the opening track once. I think there's like a reel somewhere that's filmed of that, but like again, you'd have to like dig deep. But so far, like playing the songs live collectively of the ones that we have played live, the response has been super good to them.
And in the past, like maybe 15 shows, Dick has fallen into the drum set twice. There's a good chance you might see Dick fall into the drum set during the set.
Yeah, I cannot sit still even with limited space. So there is a very good chance if it's a small stage, I am falling into the drum set from running around.
It's not a small stage, which will be nice. I think Joey might have a riser too.
Then you can just expect to see Dick moving around the stage, which we love him for it. And he probably won't fall into the drum set.
Let's hope.
But also, guys, aside from this amazing show coming up, and of course the EP that we spoke about, what is next for All Systems Go? Like, is there anything we happen to miss during this evening's interview? Anything else you guys still want to touch on, talk about, or promote? We still got you here live on 99.9 FM tonight.
Coming up, we have, aside from like the EP drop on the 19th, we have a tour that we're doing, like a mini tour. We're going to be playing a EP release show in like near our hometown in Mount Holly, New Jersey, and then hitting Baltimore and Washington, D.C. All three shows have our friends, my cousin's girlfriend's house, based out of Philly, on there, and then our friends Statements, who are based out of Baltimore.
Both amazing.
All
bands.
Three shows, yes, both amazing bands. All three shows are probably going to pop off. So, yeah, clear your calendar for. If you're in the region, clear your calendar for February 28th, March 1st, and March 2nd. I think what we're going to do after that is probably just kind of do what we did like in like 2023 after we like released Nonfiction, just kind of make the whole year about shows. We have a couple of shows I think that we're going to try locking in that'll be like in the spring. We just recently played our county's like Oktoberfest. this past September, and they asked us if we wanted to play again. So we're probably going to be doing that again this September. But yeah, pretty much just making this year about shows. Probably in the summer going out a little bit further. Like we did a couple tours the past couple years, like up to Boston and back, and then like Washington DC will be the furthest south that we've gone so far, or no, maybe Virginia before, but basically just going to be making this year all about shows.
And before we actually part our ways here tonight, guys, obviously I know how to follow you on social media, but for the individuals that might just be discovering All Systems Go down here in Canada, how do we go about following you guys across all social media platforms? That way we can stay updated on the EP and all these up-and-coming shows coming throughout 2025.
At All Systems Go NJ across the board, like any social media platform.
Yep, especially look out for. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, were you gonna say Spanky?
No, I was gonna say look out for Matt's very interesting TikTok reels that he's enjoying.
Oh yeah,
or, not reels, but you know what they're called.
Half of our marketing is just shit posting.
It's a good
hey, some of that shit posting works, man. Some shit posting truly works this day and age.
I used like we had somebody comment saying you guys sound like a wannabe of like Fall Out Boy, and I posted that like with us playing in the actual video with the audio of the new song over it, and we got like 20 followers out of it in the past like 2 days. It's crazy.
But I gotta say, guys, first and foremost, thank you for giving not only myself, but the radio station airways a bit of your time. Joe, Dick, Matt, was such an honor speaking with you three. Hopefully we can make this happen again sometime soon. But for now, guys, thank you so much for your time, and we definitely shall talk again here soon.
Thanks so much. Our pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having us.